Hello everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is quite a difficult angle to do. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk all about stress. Stress can have very real effects on your emotional, physical and your mental health. And so today I'm going to share with you some tips that are actually achievable, attainable, sustainable for you in your lives to tackle stress, okay? Before we do that though, I'm going to talk about today's sponsor of this video, Technics, which you'll have heard before. Technics earbuds, which I have in right now. They're amazing for sound quality, whether you're listening to voice calls or music, they've got you covered. Very, very helpful as well in terms of their noise cancellation. So if I don't want to hear Holly or Abby yabbering in the background, we can sort that out nicely and we can just cancel that out and I can hear, with just my voice, the people talking to me and they can hear me without any interruption. So it's very handy indeed. As you can see, they fit very comfortably, they're snug. Look how pretty my ears are. They're not very pretty, are they? Quite small ears.
You've got quite small ears, yeah.
How dare you? Anyway, they fit comfortably and they're snug. Ideal. Whether you're listening to Inner Harmony, my classic femme show, or my podcast, or any music, or sound, talking, whatever, the quality is awesome, isn't it, Abs? Good quality indeed. Yes. Strong quality. Hang on, let me zoom in on Abs. She gets annoyed when I do this. Anyway, they're very good indeed. There'll be a link in the description to go and have a look and check them out. Technics earbuds, very good. Let's get started with the video. Right guys, let's get cracking with today's video. Stress. Why do we care? Why does stress matter? So many of us are stressed, and what people often don't realise, it can have real impacts on your physical and mental health. It can increase risks of strokes, diabetes, heart attacks, blood pressure problems. It can increase your risk of anxiety and depression as well. Now, my 7 tips have all come from my book Live Well Every Day. This was published last year, and I've had loads of good feedback that people find it really, really helpful, and people have actually integrated the stuff I've talked about. This stuff works. This is the stuff that I do myself. Tip number 1, get some perspective. We often find, and I can talk from personal experience as one of life's warriors, that things that maybe are a little molehill are turned into a mountain very quickly, and it's easy to lose perspective, especially if we've got an echo chamber of our minds going, oh my God, it's a big problem, what if this happens, this is a disaster, I'm a failure, it's all gonna go wrong. And you can quickly spiral into a situation where something quite small has become something very, very big. So it's really, really useful to step back and think about perspective. Sometimes what I do is I write it down on paper and I read it back. Okay, so I write down what is the problem, what is the worst case scenario, and what is the best case scenario. And when I read it back and I go, do you know, actually, if I don't do that talk that well, the worst case scenario is I come away feeling a bit embarrassed. I'm alive, I've still got my health, I'm well, I can actually still do a really good talk otherwise. And I think, well, actually, that's the worst case scenario. What's the best case scenario? I smash it and I do amazing. I still come away well, I still have my health, and I can still do the next talk really, really well. So my point is, think about perspective. What is the worst case scenario? Tip number 2, deal with stress straight away. I must admit, naturally, I'm someone that can easily put things off, and I've done it in the past. I was terrible at doing it with things like homework. Okay, when I was younger, I would worry about failing or doing badly at school or my teachers being annoyed at me, and I think, oh gosh, I need to do this homework. But at the same time, I wouldn't do it. So actually, I was making my stress worse by not just dealing with it straight away. So if there's something you're worried about, deal with it now. If it's actionable, okay? My mum always said this, and I think it's absolutely true. Control the controllables, control what's inside your sphere of influence. Everything outside of that, let it go. And what that means is that if you've got homework due in on Friday and you're worried about it because you're like, oh gosh, I'm not sure how to do it, or it's playing on your mind, it's in your sphere of influence to do it. Get it done, okay? However, if you've got your homework due on Friday, you've done your homework, and you're worrying about whether it's good enough, or have I done it right, or whatever, if you've given it your best shot, you've done it. Let it go. Create a hit list. Okay, I'm not talking about a hit list like a spy movie, that's a different kind of thing. I'm talking about putting down on paper what it is, the stressors that are bothering you, and what you can do about them. In a way similar to the idea of getting things done first, but putting it down on paper and thinking, right, what is the most important thing that I need to deal with? How am I going to do it, and when will it be resolved, can really, really help. Also, there is a brilliant diagram that I learned in med school. There's a box, right? And you look at the different quadrants of the box, and it helps you decide what are the things that are urgent and that you need to do right now, what are the things that are non-urgent but you need to do, What are the things that are not urgent and not important that you don't need to do at all? And basically the box that's for, I'd like to do it if I get time. And actually that's really, really helpful, because sometimes amongst all the noise that's happening, all the noise and the different things that's going on in your life, it's easy to lose sight of what's really, really important. Give that one a try. Call me old-fashioned, but one of the things I also like about writing a list is there's a real pleasure of ticking it off or crossing it off. You know, we've got our whiteboard here in the HQ, we write on there, we tick it off, or we rub it out, and you just know that it's done. There's something really nice about doing that. Number 4, talk, talk, talk. I cannot say this enough. If you're stressed, talk about it. Again, my mum is great with these bits of advice. A problem shared is a problem halved, and that is absolutely true. And the other thing is as well, something that you're stressed about, someone else might have a shared experience. It might not be exactly the same. We're all got different backgrounds, different lives, different things going on. However, you'd be surprised about what you can learn about talking to people. It's interesting because one of the things that I was thinking about, when I go around to schools and speak to young people, is how much we've lost the divide between generations. Okay, fine, older generations might not have lived through social media and all the things that we see now, but they have lived through life. And a lot of things that they've experienced along the way are things that we go through, and you can learn a lot from them. So not just your friends, think about wider, who can you talk to? Maybe someone older that's lived life a bit, they've got experience, it can really help. Professional help as well. If you're really stressed, it's affecting your mood, it's affecting your emotional health, your mental health, your physical health, get professional help. Speak to a GP, get a therapist. Number 5 should be pretty obvious, but let's be honest, when we're stressed, it goes out the window for a lot of us. I know for me, if I'm feeling really stressed, one of the things that I do is I pick up food and I eat badly. It's kind of like a comfort thing for me, and I think a lot of people could probably relate to it on the channel. The funny thing is that when you're under pressure, you're stressed, you're having a hard time, the things that you want to do the least are the things that you need the most. Sleeping well, eating well, exercising, movement, talking to people, not getting isolated. And I do think sometimes we have this kind of idea that well-being is always easy. It isn't. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's about pushing yourself. Sometimes it's going to the gym when you don't want to. Sometimes it's going for that walk outside even though you think, oh gosh, I haven't got time, I'm stressed, I've got this to do. Ultimately, self-care and investing in yourself allows you to be better at what you do. It helps you cope with life stresses, and ultimately it'll make you happier as a person. Number 6, I love this one. No, 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 no. Learn to say no. I think we've created this culture around like, yes man, yes woman, let's just, say yes to everything in life, you'll have more opportunities. That isn't necessarily true. If you say yes to everything, and you try and do everything, you'll achieve nothing. And this is something that people really get confused about, especially looking on social media. This person's doing that, they're doing this, they're climbing a mountain, they've built a car, they've written a book, they've done all this kind of stuff. You've got to learn to say no, because otherwise you'll find you're trying to do everything, but you won't actually achieve the things you want to. So say no. Some of the little no's in life could be social things. So if you don't want to go to that party on Friday night, you're tired, you need to have some downtime, you need to look after your well-being, say no. It's not selfish. I had to say no to going to a friend's birthday a couple of months ago because I knew myself, I didn't feel that I was in a place to go. I really needed to have downtime. I needed a weekend to look after myself. And this bit of guilt came up within me, and oh gosh, I feel bad, but what are they going to say? And I said, I'm not going to lie to them, I'm not going to kind of make an excuse or a white lie. I said, look, I'm really sorry, I just don't feel up to it at the moment. I need a weekend to myself. And you know what? They said, no worries, mate, we'll do something next time. People will surprise you. Be honest, but don't be afraid to say no. Stick to your boundaries. It'll make a huge difference. Number 7, let's finish off with something really, really nice. Find time for something you love. I know days are busy, okay, and we're all trying to fight for time and minutes here or there, but don't forget that life is about living, okay? It's about living. There are many of us that are in a very privileged situation in life that we work to do the things that we love. We're not necessarily having to try and put food on the table, okay? And I'm very, very aware of my privilege when I say this, but when you do have time in the day, and if you do have time in the day, please make sure you do something that you really love and enjoy. It might be listening to some classical music, it might be going for a walk, it might be reading a book, playing guitar, it could be just sitting down with some friends and hanging out with some mates. But if you don't do the things that you love each day, what is the point, okay? Really reflect upon that. Doing the things we love is great to relieve stress, it boosts endorphins, and it reminds us the why of what we're doing, which I think is rather important. Guys, it's been a quick snapshot video. Basically what I'm thinking about doing is doing a series of videos, drawing some of the stuff out of my book that I think is really helpful and useful, and yeah, I really hope this is going to help you guys. So let me know if you found this video useful. Is it something that you want to see more of on the channel? I'm certainly going to be bringing guests and experts in certain areas to kind of add to knowledge and bring a fresh perspective, because I think that's very important as well. And for those, if you can ask in the comments, I'll beat you there. I've got to try and sell the book, you know. Live Well Every Day, it's available online, you can find it in all good bookstores, and yeah, I'm rather proud of it, and I generally do think it helps. I read this back and I go back through the book because ultimately you've got to keep updating yourself, you've got to keep reminding yourself of the good things that you need to do. And don't forget, well-being isn't always easy. Guys, if you haven't checked out already, have a look at Technics, hit the link in the bio. The link for this is down there as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and things. And also I just want to take a moment just to say, you know, I've been thinking a lot about everyone in Ukraine, everything that's going on at the moment. Love to everyone, you know, out there, and you know, we've got to get through these times, you know. So look after yourselves, and we should all try and do what we can when we can. Anyway, take care, look after yourselves, lots of love, and goodbye.